So what was it, Derek? A couple of weeks ago, we had Kelly Bates on the program, and we said, we got to get Kelly a job, whether it's in media, football, and
Kelly laughed. He said, thanks for the motivational speech. Thanks a lot, John.
And we did it. We should get a cut because of that interview, Kelly Bates got a job. Yeah. I'm convinced of it.
Yeah, I think 1 and 1 makes 2 there for sure. I'm pretty sure that Kelly would agree that's how it all worked out.
You couldn't add that together when you were in high school.
Maybe because in spite of us and our backing,
you know what I think the bottom line is?
Great job.
I think what happened, and Kelly, correct me if I'm wrong here, you knew you were getting that job, and you didn't even tell us. Like, I am really, really disappointed in you, man.
No, I was doing a good job as a stay-at-home dad and house husband, as my wife puts it. Now she's sort of upset at me. So.
House husband. Oh, yeah. That's right. I see you being in that role.
I was up to date on my golf, my hockey. I knew all the new Paw Patrol episodes with my kids. I mean, I knew it. And
hey, all joking aside, congratulations. You are the 10th head coach in SFU football history. You're part of the clan now. Tell us, how did it all come about?
Well, they had some issues with their hiring process, and it just didn't go the way they wanted it to go. And I had originally applied and didn't make the short list. And when things fell through and didn't work out with what they did, just watching from afar, just like everybody else, I just decided I was going to phone the athletic director and say, listen, I literally live 8 minutes away. What could it hurt to just bring me in for an informal review or interview? I know that a lot of great people out here had called on my behalf and put my name up there, and I was sure he was sick of hearing it, and he probably just had me up there so he could say he had me up there and didn't have to deal with it anymore. But it went very well, and it really just gained momentum from there. That was a Thursday, and by the next Monday, I'd gone in for the full round of interviews, and by Tuesday, I had the job offered.
Wow, fantastic. And it's amazing how things, do work out. As I said, good things happen to good people, and you're good people as far as I'm concerned. And it's one of those situations. It's in your own, backyard. Ultimately, you're now a head coach. You've been a position coach in the Canadian Football League. You've been a long-time player in the Canadian Football League. What kind of head coach are you going to be, Kelly? This is a new challenge.
It is a new challenge. It's a tremendous challenge. I mean, I think, and this obviously I don't have great experience on it, and just saying this from what I think it's going to be. It's as a head coach, I believe you do a lot less coaching and a lot more administering and empowering the people that work for you, the people that share the same vision as you do for the team, and I think that's sort of where it sits. I'm a teacher by trade. And I always knew that if I was going to go back into teaching, eventually I'd get into administration. And, it's the same as any job in life. It comes down to relationships and the relationships you build and foster. And that's what it is to me. And that's where I start. That's a good starting point for me. And now everything comes flying at me 100 miles an hour, and it's time to solve problems.
I was going to say that. So 100 miles an hour, all of a sudden now you get this job and you got the title and you're the head coach. And so how do you get caught up to speed, Kelly? Do you just, obviously you got to assemble your coaching staff, and then after that recruiting, and then, figure out where does it start?
Yeah, just the same way you studied for tests in high school.
I wrote it down on the inside of my shoe.
And that's what I did.
Okay. That was your to-do list?
Yeah. It's honestly, you sort of hit the nail on the head. I mean, I had an idea of who I would like for my coaching staff after things started to get a little more serious. I put those phone calls in and started to put things in place, but curveballs have still been thrown at me. I mean, it's very interesting, and at the same time, I wish that I could get on the phone and call every kid that we've got there listed, but rules are rules in the NCAA, and as of tomorrow, I can call kids from I can call kids from the on-campus site, but until I write my recruiting exam, there'll be no in-house visits or anything of that nature. So really just trying to get ahead with all that, because the lifeline of I should say the bloodline of that organization is the people coming in, and those are the recruits that we need to get more recruits.
Well, and that's an interesting challenge because, as you just mentioned, the NCAA rules, and for people that don't know, Simon Fraser is, obviously competing in the NCAA level, and so it's totally different than the Canadian Football League game, and that adds a different, challenge to the mix too, Kelly.
It's a much different challenge. It's a different set of rules. It's everything is different, but it's
still football. It's still football.
Football. In the end, that is it. Our product is different than any CIS team. We offer a different, unique opportunity for both Canadian and American kids, and that is sort of the selling point. And it's an NCAA experience. It's done in Canada and can be done nowhere else in Canada, and we play a good level. That's the starting point. That's the line you start to pitch, and you go from there.
We heard that Joe Paupower, the rumors were going around there and things were flying around that Joe Paupower is going to be your offensive coordinator. Is that still a rumor? Is that fact? Is he part of the coaching squad? What's going on?
Wow, look at that, trying to break stories. You were on the internet researching things, weren't you?
Well, we were until our internet actually went down here at the station. We didn't pay the bill, I guess so. Now we have to actually ask questions instead of Googling.
Well, that's no fun. That's what Googling is the best part of it.
No, tell me about it.
Yeah, you know what? There's a lot of names out there that I'm trying to work with. Joe is one of them. I have a great deal of respect for Joe. I learned a great deal from Joe last year, and I am trying to surround myself with people that are, there's a few different qualities that I'm looking for. I want good coaches, obviously, but I want great people. I mean, we've been trusted with the lives of these young men, and that's a big thing to have put on your shoulders. And Joe, in particular, I mean, he has done a CIS experience as a head coach at Waterloo for 5, 6, 7 years, and there's a lot of coaches out there, but those are the type of people I'm looking for.
When you are allowed to start recruiting, where are you going to try to get the majority of your players from? Will it be the Vancouver area? Will you go into the States? I don't know how many scholarships you have to work with.
Let's
Kelly.
not forget about Saskatchewan.
Well, Saskatchewan,
Humboldt,
there you go.
From the Kelly Bates Football Academy in Humboldt, Saskatchewan.
Oh yes. We have the ability to offer up to 36 full scholarships.
36.
We do not offer that many. It's in making up your roster. It's just like making up a roster in the CFL. You've got your parameters, and you try to create your roster in that way. And we're down to 55 kids right now, and we'd really like to be at about 90. We'd like, if I had my dream roster, 20 of them would be from the States, and we're really going to focus on the States that are close here: Washington, Oregon. They have a geographical tie. There's not too far to travel. Some teams that are similar teams in the conference, and believe it or not, the dollar with the way it is right now works in to our advantage. So we'll focus on those areas, and in Canada, you're looking all throughout Canada, but we have certain areas that we want more kids from. We'd like about 10 out of Alberta and Saskatchewan, and 15 from Ontario. I mean, it's mostly population based, and there's just a plan, as with everything going forward. And it starts at home, and we'd like to at least have half of our roster as kids from BC. And I think that's how you build a solid basis, creating an opportunity for kids that will have them stay in one place for 4 years, and that's how you create great alumni.
Batesy, you, of course, and I got to know you through how you grew up playing football after high school in Saskatoon with the Hilltops, and then with, of course, the U of S Huskies. And, talk about long-time coaches. I mean, the guys are still the same coaches of the Hilltops and the Huskies back from when you were there. So have you had a chance, now that you have your first head coaching job? I understand it's, NCAA, but it's still, as we said, it's still football. Have you had a chance to talk to Tom Sargent with the Hilltops, or Brian Tauris, of course, the longtime coach of the U of S Huskies?
I've spoke with BT. Obviously, you're a product of where you come from to a degree, and I mean that in a good sense for me, with the University of Saskatchewan in particular. And you're right. I mean, those coaches have been there forever. And I think that's part of the reason they're able to breed consistency and have such a good program. And that's part of the issue out here. These poor kids over the last 3 years, I believe the number is they've had 37 different coaches. And it's pretty darn tough to create any consistency. It's pretty darn tough to create long-lasting relationships with people. And so it's really my goal is to create an environment that allows these kids to build some relationships, some trust, and feel positive moving forward and learning the game. So, I'd like a nice mix of local coaches, but I also need some NCAA experience, and it's really a unique challenge to bring that all together, and I'm enjoying it.
11 years in the Canadian Football League as a player, 8 of those years with the BC Lions. You've worked with Mike Benavidez. You've obviously worked with a lot of head coaches. Is there a coach that you're going to emulate yourself, after, try to be like or not be like? You've had some great coaching experiences. What have you learned, as a player and a coach?
It's funny. There are a few coaches I won't be like, but you sure do remember the ones that had a positive effect. And those are the ones you try to draw just little bits and pieces of from. I mean, you're trying to create an identity and bring a structure and a culture to a team. And I've had some great mentors to look up to, and you name most of them. I mean, Bidsy will be familiar with Dave Hardy, who was a longtime head coach for the Hilltops, and Brian Towers and his coaching staff. I'm still in touch with most of those guys. They are mentors, teachers, friends, and you go right up on up the alley. I mean, Wally out here was my GM and head coach for the most of my career, and Mike gave me my first real shot as a head coach. And Mike, I'll be forever grateful to. He's a tremendous individual. He's taught me how important it is to treat people the right way, and I'm forever grateful for that. And to show you the type of guy Mike is, he's probably going to help out a little bit here and there. So it's just great people, and I feel so fortunate to have been around them and learned so much from them, and I continue to, call on that all the time.
Kelly Bates, a special guest here on Sports Talk, good friend of the program, a former BC Lion, coach, and now he's the head coach, 10th head coach in Simon Fraser history. So Batesy, just switching gears here for a second because this is Calgary. Nick Lewis, as you know, signs with the Montreal.
That absolutely is.
Okay, Mr. Bates, always good talking to you again. So glad you're back in football. Knew you would be, and as the head coach of SFU, good luck with it, man.
Gentlemen, thank you so much. It is always fun, and I always look forward to it.
Thanks a lot, Batesy. Talk soon, pal.
You got it, guys.
Kelly Bates, head coach of Simon Fraser. He's part of the clan as he is back in the coaching ranks. And as I said earlier, Bidsy, good things happen to good people.
And Kelly Bates he is good people. Yeah, he's a great guy, tons of character, entertaining, and just look forward to him having success there.
We'll get you caught up on the out-of-town scoreboard.